Hey everyone, welcome back! While early 3D games were busy looking like ugly, blocky cardboard boxes, Sega was quietly perfecting 2D artwork. Today, we are counting down 10 Saturn and Dreamcast gems that proved 2D gaming was far from dead. Starting at number 10, Astal was Sega's gorgeous flex to prove the Saturn could craft hand-drawn artwork that put animated movies to shame. You control a crystal warrior who punches, tosses, and inhales enemies while protecting a goddess across a vibrant fairy tale world. The sprites are massive, the colors pop off the screen, and the background layers move with absurd depth. The combat is simple, punchy, and surprisingly violent for such a pretty game. It remains a total visual flex, even if your main hero looks like an overly aggressive craft store jewel that broke off its necklace specifically to throw hands with giant trees. Coming in at number 9, Princess Crown is the stunning 2D action RPG that laid the groundwork for future classics like Odin's Sphere. You play as a 13-year-old queen who embarks on a dangerous quest across a medieval kingdom, engaging in intense one-on-one battles with huge detailed sprites. The animations are absurdly detailed, making every sword swing and monster attack feel alive and fluid. It is a legendary Saturn import that proved 2D storytelling was far from dead. Just try not to overthink the fact that a literal middle school child queen is solving kingdom-level tax crises by aggressively stabbing giant dragons in the throat with a broadsword. Landing at number 8, Guru Mark of the Wolves on the Dreamcast represents the absolute peak of classic 2D sprite animation. This legendary fighting game brought hyper-fluid character movements, crisp background details, and an amazingly deep tactical combat system to home consoles. Every punch, kick, and special move flows with breathtaking speed and clarity. It stands as a masterclass in how 2D fighters easily humiliated early 3D models in pure style. It makes you feel like an undisputed martial arts genius, right up until you get hit by a 60-hit combo from a guy who looks like he got dressed in the dark with his eyes closed. At number 7, Gigawing 2 takes full advantage of the Dreamcast to deliver an absolute circus of 2D bullet hell madness. The screen is constantly flooded with thousands of bright, glowing laser beams and giant explosions pushing your reflexes to their absolute limits. The genius reflect shield mechanic lets you absorb thousands of enemy shots and throw them right back, massive wave of pure, petty revenge. It is an exhilarating arcade ride that completely melts your brain in the best way possible. Just make sure to keep your eyes open because blinking once means your spaceship gets instantly vaporized into cosmic dust. Sliding into number 6, Silhouette Mirage is a wild, colorful, side-scrolling shooter created by the absolute madmen at Treasure. The entire game revolves around an ingenious color-swapping combat loop where your character does damage based on which direction she's facing relative to her enemies. The sprite work is bizarre, creative, and completely bursting with personality at every turn. It is a fantastic example of the Saturn handling complex 2D mechanics that 3D games could not touch. It feels brilliant when you get in the zone, right up until your brain completely melts trying to calculate real-time color algebra mid-jump. Coming in at number 5, Capcom vs SNK2 is the ultimate dream crossover that proved that Dreamcast was the undisputed king of 2D fighting games. Bringing together over 40 iconic fighters, the game delivers lightning-fast combat, massive sprite variety, and 6 unique fighting styles to master. The controls are razor-sharp, making every special move feel immensely satisfying to land. It remains a legendary arcade masterpiece that proved high-definition 2D sprites had way more soul than early blocky polygon fighters. It is pure competitive perfection, provided you can handle your friends' screaming excuses at you for button mashing. At number 4, Dragon Force on the Saturn flexed on early 3D games by putting 200 2D sprites on screen at the exact same time. You command giant armies in massive tactical battles, watching hundreds of knights, mages, and dragons clash in chaotic, real-time warfare. The strategy is deep, the sprite animations are charming, and the scale of the battles was mind-blowing for its time. It is a sweeping tactical epic, even if watching your elite battalion of tiny pixel soldiers get instantly wiped out by a single spell makes you feel like a terrible military general who should immediately lose his job. Taking the number 3 spot, the Saturn port of Street Fighter Alpha 3 is famous for being a pixel-perfect arcade conversion that put every other home console to shame. Thanks to the Saturn's famous RAM cartridge, the game ran with zero slowdown, instant load times, and every single frame of fluid 2D animation intact. With a massive roster of characters and 3 distinct fighting styles, the depth here is virtually endless. It proved that while everyone else was chasing ugly 3D graphics, Sega built the ultimate 2D power station. It turns every fight into a masterpiece right up until you whiff a dragon punch and get punished. Our runner-up at number 2 is Mars Matrix, a blistering vertical arcade shooter on the Dreamcast that turned bullet dodging into an absolute art form. You pilot a tiny ship against overwhelming waves of enemy fire, using a gravity weapon to absorb bullets, reflect damage, and vacuum up experience points. The action never slows down for a second, filling the screen with bright colors, giant bosses, and thousands of glowing collectibles. It is a glorious celebration of 2D arcade adrenaline, even if the intense screen chaos makes you feel like you are trying to pilot a spaceship through an exploding rainbow fireworks factory. Taking our number 1 spot is Guardian Heroes, a brilliant Saturn masterpiece that combined beat-em-up action with deep RPG mechanics and branching storylines. You choose your hero and battle through massive waves of enemies across 3 distinct depth lanes, unleashing flashy special moves and leveling up your stats after every round. The hand-drawn character designs and chaotic multiplayer battles make it an absolute blast to play with friends. It stands as the ultimate proof that 2D gaming was alive and thriving on Sega hardware. It is a flawless classic, even if your undead skeleton teammate steals all your kills. That wraps up our look back at Sega's ultimate 2D powerhouses. Which of these sprite-based masterpieces was your personal favorite, or did we leave out a classic? Drop your hot takes in the comments below, and we will see you next time.